What's up, Raptors fans? Welcome to the Warrant Report. The Raptors lost a heartbreaking game to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, and we really could have used Khem Birch, who has been dealing with his knee issues the entire season, but we were also short another big man in Precious Achiuwa, who's been on and off with his shoulder tendonitis, and the Raptors were already lacking depth at that center position, could have really used both of them last night. So for today's video, I want to talk about 5 trades between the Raptors and the Pacers surrounding Domantas, Sabonis, and Myles Turner. So if you want to like this video, that'd be amazing. If you guys want to hit the subscribe button, that'd be awesome as well. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shoutouts on this channel. So for today's video, the shoutout goes out to Shashank Shrivastava. So Shashank, thank you so much for supporting this channel. Through your likes and comments, it is very much appreciated. And let's talk a little bit about the Raptors and the Pacers salary cap situation, because when we talk about trades, you obviously have to, in the NBA, you have to match salaries. Now, you take a look at Domantas Sabonis and Myles Turner. They're both making about $18 million. Domantas is under contract for a season longer than Myles Turner. Now, when you take a look at the Raptors roster, you have to match salaries, which becomes a little bit challenging for the Raptors, considering that we're unlikely to trade Pascal Fred, OG, or Gary Trent Jr., and we're definitely not trading Scottie Barnes. So we obviously have to throw on Goran Dragic for most of these trades because it matches salary. So let's start with our very first trade here. Now, this trade here sends the Raptors, of course, Myles Turner, who we could definitely use. In return, the Indiana Pacers receive Goran Dragic for salary fillers, just as I touched upon. They also get Precious Achiuwa as well, and they get David Johnson, their second round pick. Now, I know a lot of people may be thinking, Pacers aren't going to do this, but stop and think for this moment about what we got Serge Ibaka for. And obviously, times have changed, and big men are a rarity in today's NBA, and they're really hard to find, especially ones that can stretch the floor like Myles Turner and can block shots. But I think the Pacers do say yes to this, and of course, the Raptors would likely have to send a future first-round pick to get this deal done. But Precious Achiuwa's ceiling is very high. He's a young, athletic big man who can run the floor. He's very versatile on defense, which a lot of people underestimate, which makes such a big difference in modern NBA today. So I think the Pacers would love to have Precious Achiuwa. David Johnson, I wouldn't say he's a throw-in, but he's also a young player they can obviously use as well in a trade. They love young players. They're in a rebuilding phase, and they get that future first-round pick from the Raptors as well. So I really like this trade for both sides. I think this one works. Now let's talk about trade number 2 here. Now, this one has a lot of pieces moving around, of course. As some of you guys have mentioned in the comments section, it is not easy to get a 3-team deal done, but Dallas, who we know wants Goran Dragic, gets their man, and Goran wants to be in Dallas, of course, with Luka Doncic as well. So the Raptors send Goran Dragic to the Dallas Mavericks. The Pacers, of course, send us Myles Turner, and in return, the Dallas Mavericks send Dwight Powell for salary fillers. They send Josh Green and Moses Brown, and the Raptors send Malachi Flynn to the Indiana Pacers as well. Now, I actually think this is the most realistic trades out of all of my trades. Reason being, of course, Dwight Powell salary purposes. When you talk about Josh Green, Malachi Flynn, Moses Brown, all really young players on cheap contracts, and they're locked in for 3 seasons. I think the Indiana Pacers say yes to this. Again, some picks may have to be involved from the Raptors' behalf to send to the Indiana Pacers to sweeten this deal, but I think the Indiana Pacers say yes for several reasons. You get 3 really good young players. Although I wouldn't say their standouts or their ceiling is exceptionally high, I think you get some really young players, and that is what the Indiana Pacers want for a rebuilding team. You want young players that are in their early 20s, and that is exactly what they get. So I think the Pacers do say yes to this to get a decent return for Myles Turner. And of course, the Raptors, Myles Turner is a perfect fit there. He voices frustration just today with the Indiana Pacers. So I really like this trade for all sides. I think this one works. Again, like I said, a few picks may have to be involved for the Indiana Pacers to say yes. I don't think that's a big deal for the Raptors to throw in a pick. Let's move on to our next trade here. Now, I talked about the last trade being my most realistic. I think this is probably the most unrealistic trade, but Pacers, they get Goran Dragic, salary fillers. I think the Raptors throw this year's first round pick, top 10 protected. That is what entices the Pacers to say yes, and potentially a couple second round picks in the near future. But Delano Banton, if you're watching this and you're not a Raptors fan, this guy has an incredible ceiling. He is a lengthy lengthy point guard who can just run the floor, he can dribble, attack the basket, and his ceiling is unmatched. I'm telling you guys, Delano Banton is going to be a really bright player in the NBA a few seasons. So if you're a Pacers fan and you're watching this, it may not seem like a good return. And look, I'll be honest with you, I don't think this trade gets done. I'm obviously being a biased Raptors fan, but Delano Banton's got a bright future. I think this. I would hate to give up Delano Banton, but if we are to make a trade for Myles Turner, I think we do have to include one of Precious or Delano or some of our young players. So I think this trade here, again, it's very unrealistic if I'm being honest with you, but this is one of the trades I see happening, or at least on ESPN Trade Machine, we should say. But let's move on to some other trades here. Now, talking about three-team deals, the Raptors receive Myles Turner. The Indiana Pacers get a huge, absolutely huge return for Ben Simmons. The Raptors send Goran Dragic to the 76ers. They also sent Precious Achiuwa, who, again, I love our youth. It hurts to part with them, but you do have to give something to get something. So they give up Precious Achiuwa. The Pacers give up TJ Warren, who's also got a one-year contract left. Again, I don't necessarily see this happening just because the 76ers asking price is high as the sky. So I think the Indiana Pacers and both the Raptors would have to throw in first-round picks to the Philadelphia 76ers to get this deal. Of course, I think realistically speaking, the 76ers would all want a lot more for Ben Simmons, but this is a trade that works out. The Indiana Pacers get a young point guard in Ben Simmons. What more can you ask for in return for Myles Turner and TJ Warren? He fits in with their system perfectly. He's a good defensive player, hard-working player for all the criticism he's received. And of course, the Raptors get their big man in Myles Turner. So again, this is one that's unrealistic, probably not going to happen, but if the Pacers or the Raptors maybe throw in one other young enticing player in first round picks, perhaps, not likely, but perhaps the 76ers may just accept that. Now let's move on to another trade here involving the Raptors and the Pacers. Now this one here, again, talking about unrealistic trades, I could maybe see this happening. Now, I know people are going to brush this off and just laugh at this trade, but the Raptors get Domantas Sabonis and Oshae Brissett, former Raptor, and in return, the Indiana Pacers get a highly touted big man in Precious Achiuwa, who are, again, I'm really high on Precious and Delano Banton. Their ceilings are amazing. I think they're going to be solid players in another couple years. They get Goran Dragic for salary purposes, and Precious and Delano Banton, it hurts to give up, but for Domantas, you have to give up a lot more. I think a future first-round pick would also have to be involved for the Indiana Pacers to say yes. Now, I know what people are thinking. This might not get it done. This really might not get it done because Domantas Sabonis is arguably the Pacers' best player, but you get two really good young players in Precious Achiuwa. You can play power forward, he can play the center, he can play along Myles Turner, and then you get Delano Banton for the future. You get two young players in two different positions who are under contract, very team-friendly contract for at least a couple seasons. That's great. And then, of course, the Raptors throw in a future first-round pick. That's a bonus on top. So, again, perhaps I'm being a biased Raptors fan. I think this deal gets done with the Indiana Pacers. But I do want to ask you guys, which of these trades was your favorite? Which of these trades do you realistically see happening? And which players would you be willing to send for a Myles Turner or a Domantas Sabonis? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I got a trivia question for you today, and this trivia question should be one that all Raptors fans should be able to answer. So how many years has it been since the Raptors joined the NBA? Is it A, 28 years, B, 27 years, C, 24 years, or is it D, 26 years? Let me know in the comment section below, and the first person to answer this correctly gets a shout out in my next video. So again, guys, I want to hear from you regarding these trades. Myles Turner did voice his frustration this morning with the Indiana Pacers, saying he's more than just a role player. So, of course, Myles Turner is very likely to be moved. It'll be interesting to see which team gets involved, but I do want to hear from you guys. What would the Raptors have to give up for a Myles Turner or Domantas Sabonis? Let me know in the comment section below, and I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.